I started alchemy because I'd had an alchemical rebirth.
What? So that's where it come from?
Yes,
that was the idea behind
it. It was
it.
from alchemical wedding, but it's the alchemy I had, this suddenly transformation. It was a whole change of everything. I suddenly became interested in herbs and plants.
Can I ask you, before that, had you taken psychedelic drugs?
Yes, I took.
So the psychedelic, well, one thing, but it was this route that
the psychedelics might have been, because psychedelic 66. This was 1974, 4 years after.
Yeah.
And I'd come. The acid dream was over. It was
Yeah.
heavy here. I'd come down into an unhappy, and my mother had died a year before my play had flopped, so I'd reached a terrible, where I was nothingness.
What's it all about?
Previous personas had disappeared.
Yeah.
Hippie, actor, and I was the nothing drop, and I didn't know what I would do. And through the ginseng route, I became a medicine head. I came to the Portobello Road with a table with tiger balm, which I used to open people's third eye, and I had the root of life. And I said, and the Chinese believe if you take ginseng regularly, after the age of 40, it prolongs life. And you have spring returns. Yes. It's harder as you get older. Yeah. So when you say the different things I do, I learned you have to be reborn. Reinvent yourself, renew yourself. That's regeneration with body. And I too, since I'm taking the CBDs, I've had. I nearly died 6 months ago, and the doctor thought I had a slow heartbeat. I was having blackouts, and I could bang my head on the floor and wake up wet. And he diagnosed wrong, because. And then I was down to 8 stone. And I couldn't eat, and I came back from London. I said, "Doctor, I'm so ill." And he said, "Oh, it's nothing, don't worry, ring me up." And lucky someone was with me in the country walk, and I suddenly smashed my head, but lucky not in the road, on the side. I was rushed emergency to Ipswich Hospital, and they discovered after tests that I had a bleeding ulcer in my stomach which was going to burst in my gut. Right. So I was 6 days under drips and iron, and literally it took 7 hours.
I can empathise that I had the same.
And what happened is that they pulled me through, a great Chinese doctor, never in the hospital. And after the 6 days, I said, I'm going to write to the East Anglia Daily Times. So I came home that evening with my son, who was, works at Poole General Hospital, to come up with me. And I said that I'd be coming to the hospital emergency. I'd been through all these departments, and all these from Porters helped me, and they discovered my ulcer, and that the hospital was a jewel in the crown of Suffolk, and we should cherish our NHS. Yes. And on the Saturday, which is made in the paper, on the editorial, they printed a photo of a hospital. Hospital is jewel in the crown, the heading, and Lee Harris was very impressed with his stay. And the ward were over the moon, because at Stradbroke Ward, I mentioned him. And then I thought, I've given a gift. I mean, here I am, my life saved. And I came down to London, 8 stone, skinny for youth's event there. And I had a complete rebirth. So suddenly, at the age of nearly 80, I'm the happy. I've at long last learned to love myself.
I must say, you are looking extremely
yes, because I'm going through with the ginseng and the CBD oils. Regeneration. It cleared up the imbalance in my metabolism, which I had, and I didn't know then about endocannabinoids, or anandamides they call.
And phytozoa,
yes.
The 2 building blocks of life.
Yes, and I saw the film on Dr. Mishulam.
Oh, brilliant,
with the scientist who came there, who studied Sanskrit, and he was told he would be able to name it, and he named after Ananda. Yeah. And Mishulam added the Mides. So it's a wonderful story.
And of course, you've got a history going back into India, and so have I. And of course, that Amanda mine is about the Bhagavad Gita and the Shiva story in the beginning of life.
Yes, and can I say, we India, all I ended up doing is going for a 2-week holiday to Goa to Rajaram's rave, because what happened in my period of the depression thing, I asked Oz magazine can I write for them, and they gave me a book on India to review called Return to the Source by Lanza del Vasto, who was a Sicilian nobleman that went out to see Gandhi in the 30s and was the first Westerner to discard his clothes and tour India, and that's a Return to the Source. And when it's in my book, you have Gandhi, my review of that, and it's reappeared in Northern Ireland under the heading Gnomes for Love and Fuck for Peace, on a Gandhi article. That book opened India, and I saw it's such a beautiful, and he went through the most spiritual and physical, yet I couldn't go to India, and I had a vision India would come to me.
Mother India.
Yes, but I'm very interested in Tibetan Buddhism because I went to Sammy Ling in 1972 in Scotland.
Wow, that is way back.
And that retreat turned me on to meditation and action, and since then I'm follow him, and I've still got the yellow shirt. I bought it. I wear it on my wife's funeral, on my wedding, and special. And when I came out of hospital, I put it on. It's on a YouTube video, a very nice one, with me, Nick Turner, and youth. Wonderful little.
But I'm sorry to call these are all the legends. These guys, by the way. So, but out of all of them,
am I being filmed as well?
Mr. Lee here, honestly, he's looking fantastic. He's really looking the best one. My God, he's looking like a young man. I can't believe it. And you seriously are nearly 80 now, aren't you?
In August.
In August.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a miracle to me, you know, a miracle in my belief in good food. I got into the organic thing. I learnt in the 60s from interviewing the American beat poet Michael McClure, and he said it's not about the new left. He said it's ecological, it's biological. And first time I heard the word ecology, and then I became in biodiversity. I've got into macrobiotics.
Well, coming from here, you must have known the Sam's brothers, Greg and...
We were pioneers together.
Of course you are.
In ginseng as well. And they had the first workers' calf, green jeans up
Of course
there.
they did.
So,
well, Greg lives down in my town in Hastings now.
Yes,
he's down there. I see him quite often.
And I mean, when I was going through that depression in the 70s, I used to go to seed to eat macrobiotic food. So the diet or the whole food thing was very, very big in my life.
Especially around Notting Hill. It was macrobiotic city, wasn't it? You couldn't get any even macro. If you didn't like macrobiotics, don't come to Notting Hill.
Even if macrobiotics often cause scurvy in the communes, they weren't getting a balanced diet. And I still see the Craig brothers, the Sam's brothers.
Sam's brothers.
I was at Greg's birthday about a month ago. The whole family were there. So it's wonderful how you bind community. The elders.
The elders, that's what they are. Like he's South London, so these were the old fellas, but they're actually the elders. And they really, the Sam's people.
They're the pioneers.
These are pioneers. These pushed that 60s door open.
Yes.
For people like us to follow
made people
through.
accept organic things and an awareness of the biodiversity. I mean, and then it comes out that I'm living in the country in my little rented 300-year-old Grade 2 listed cottage, which is so beautiful. And I don't own it, which I like, so it's I'm just steward over the 400-year period for 38 years in this place.
How marvellous is
and
that?
then I go out in the fields all around me, and I've brought some wild bird seed when it was cold, and I threw handfuls out. And by the second day I had a pheasant, I had a blackbird and magpie.
They all come for the seed.
2 wood pigeons. I listed all the different
menagerie.
tits. Yes, and I thought, how do they get the sensory perception to come to the bleak from all the fields?
I know.
To at that moment to know I'm going to bring them some food and hemp seed.
And hemp seed.
Yes, and it was so lovely to see the peacock, because the peacock lives in a farm a little way off. How did he know?
I don't know, but they do, don't
yes,
they?
I love it.
I've had the same sort of experience. The birds have come flocking from France to my field in England just because they've not got hemp seed.
Because my beautiful German wife, Brigitte, gave me a wild garden. She loved nature and all plant. There was no such
let
thing
it
as
be.
weeds, and so there's biodiversity and for the all living things.
Yeah. Because again, in the 60s, the permaculture movement was that was all starting around here, wasn't it?
That started. This was the foundation.
The foundation of so many things.
Reggae, the underground, the trip to the east. I published the guide to the east.
Magic Boss.
1972. Yes, I've been on the Magic Boss. I remember Mike with the long hair.
Yeah.
Because I'd gone on the Magic Bus.
We've got to explain what Magic Boss. Magic Boss used to go from Victoria.
Yes.